The downing of Malaysia Flight 17 is creating extraordinary questions for the victims' loved ones, for Malaysia Airlines and all of the commercial aviation industry. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is here with the fallout from that. Peter, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I can't imagine what it's like for the families to look at this crime scene being treated so callously. What is the biggest question to be asked and answered here?
Well, of course, it's a legal question as to what their rights are. And in order to understand that, you have to go back to Flight 370 because it's very difficult to litigate negligence or liability in the absence of evidence. This is a different situation. There's a continuing flow of evidence here, and they're going to be able to do that.
How do you think the victims' families will be compensated?
Well, first it comes under the Montreal Protocol in 1999, which caps each claimant to $174,000.
Paid by the airlines?
Paid by the insurance company for the airlines. What's interesting about this, and that totals, if you actually paid the full amount to each family member here, would be about $49 million. But that's paid no matter how the plane came down, whether it was an act of war or terrorism. It's regardless of that. The real key is what happens beyond that, because under the Montreal protocols, you can litigate for more if there's more evidence. In this case, there will be.
Well, you were the Secretary of State outlined all this evidence suggesting Russia, that I mean, there were 150 vehicles that went across the border within the last week. The Secretary Kerry said that vehicle that may have fired that missile went back to Russia afterwards.
And this is a situation where Malaysia Airlines may not just be a defendant, it may be a plaintiff. In fact, you can count on it being a plaintiff because they will make a claim if it's proven that the Russians had involvement here against the Russian government.
What if, in fact, this simply was the fact that the weapon used, the missiles used, came from Russia? Legally?
It's a circumstantial case, but it can still be litigated. What's interesting about this is once that happens, and you can make any claim you want against a foreign government, if that claim is justified, if you get a judgment, then you can go after that government, but you can seize their assets. You can seize an Aeroflot plane at Kennedy Airport if you wanted.
Can we go back to the central question? I think it was first raised by Captain Sully Sullenberger on CBS News, which is, what was that plane doing flying over Ukraine? And there were other big planes, too.
Oh, many of them. Yeah. The aerial skyways that are being used by airlines all over the world have traditionally flown over conflicted areas. As I'm speaking to you now, there are probably 20 U.S. airlines today that will overfly Cuba. They'll overfly northern Iraq. They'll overfly. If you're flying to Jordan, you're actually handled by Israeli air traffic control. So the point is now the airlines have to get together with the ICAO and figure out exactly what they can do because they're going to have to reroute.
Do they do that because they don't assume anyone has missiles that can reach 33,000?
Exactly. That's exactly. And there's always been a gentleman's agreement. Let me give you some history. In the middle of the Vietnam War, Air France had a flight every single day from Paris to Hanoi. The South Vietnamese knew it, the North Vietnamese knew it, and we knew it, and that plane landed safely every day because they knew it was off limits.
Generally in insurance, is there an exception for acts of war?
There is, and that's under war risk insurance, and that's also dictated by where you're flying.
Thanks, Peter.
You got it.